Guys, Janine and Rita have been through so much during these seasons. They always have to fight against the system, but the emotional cost is so high. So, how do you think they keep their humanity?
Rita is an extremely religious, very spiritual person, and she really, as the seasons increase, really clings to her faith. But I think it's always the knowledge that she has family somewhere and wants to reunite with them. I think her just keeping that hope alive keeps the humanity alive, if that makes sense.
I think for Janine, it's her friendships. Like she forges some really beautiful, like a real sisterhood among the handmaids and then among the Jezebels. And I think that that's what keeps her going.
And Luke has changed a little bit, I think, since season 1. In this final season, I've seen a little bit. He's angrier, do you think?
Yeah, I think, there's been a number of changes in Luke. And I think one of them is that he's realized that his soft, hey, trust in the process, trust in the demeanor is not going to cut it. And I think he's become hardened. He spent some time in jail. I think you're right to see that. And he's going to try and channel that into getting his daughter back.
Do you think the series has become closer to or more distant from the reality we live in today since season 1?
Wow, it's a pretty deep question. I think there are definitely things that are going on in the world now that are mirroring some of the things that happened in The Handmaid's Tale, especially in the lead up to the rise of Gilead. What I hope, though, is more than kind of like people being like despondent about it, but rather energized. There are multiple ways that reality might unfold over the next decade or so. And we have the power within us, if we kind of get together and form community and take action, that we can make a difference to that outcome. And so, yeah, I hope it's more of a call to action than a kind of like, oh no, what's happening to the world?
I think the show has really always been in the center of the conversation of what has been happening politically in our country. And, for it to come full circle right now, us being at the very beginning of a second presidency from Donald Trump, it's obviously not something that I could have predicted or really would have wanted, but it is always been The Handmaid's Tale and the story of America having this dance.
The book came out like 40 years ago this year, and every year since, it feels like, okay, this is the time that's the most relevant. Now The Handmaid's Tale is happening. Now it's happening. I think that just means that like there is still so much more work to be done. Something needs to change if every year we're saying the same thing. Thing.
If you could write each other's endings, how it would be?
I love this question.
Oh, yeah, that's really sweet.
I would love Janine to be reunited with Angela, although you don't call her Angela.
I call her Charlotte.
Different. So I would love Janine to be reunited with Charlotte and given a cute brownstone somewhere with get some new clothes, find herself a man, and get a Mazda CRV. Just a nice life.
Yeah. Such is Amanda's way to like create a full story around something. I'm like, I hope Rita
stopped baking,
gets a pair of really comfortable shoes.
Yep.
I hope that she gets to go on as many hot girl walks as she could ever wish.
Thanks.
And I hope that she has a personal chef.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
I mean, I think fans are really obsessed with your relationship with Serena Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much joy in this show. So maybe I'd turn it into a love story.
I would make Moira the epicenter of a community and slowly unraveled all of the atrocities and the country of Gilead itself.
The main thing I think Luke wants is to be reunited with his daughter and his daughter to be safe. So I think that, and then possibly a beach and a couple of margaritas. Why not?
Perfect. Elizabeth Moss has been directing episodes since season 4. How has her role as a director has influenced the series, and what it was like to conclude the journey with her directing the final episode?
Yeah, she's a brilliant director. I think just personally speaking, she really understands my method as an actor. She understands my process, and as a result, she knows how to get the best out of me. But also just to see her empowered. They said, we entrust you to be a producer on the show, and not a producer just a name, but in action. We trust you to be a director on the show. And she's really taken that helm, and it's kind of reminded me and inspired me that, like, hey, look, us artists, we can take the realm, we can direct the course of a show. So it's been really inspiring to see her do that.
And what message do you think this final season can convey?
One of the things that I think of when I think of this season and just the journey of the series as a whole, hope comes to mind, a feeling of just holding on to that through the despair that will sort of get us through, at the end of the day. And I do know that the fans that have been dedicated to this show throughout the seasons, throughout the break, through all of it, will be very satisfied with where this show ends.
One of the brilliant things about our writers is that they are so varied. Like, there's so much to take from it. You can take a political message, you could take an interpersonal message, you could take the message between the characters. And so I think every person who watches this is going to be able to take different things from it.
Thank you guys so much. I hope you're having a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Obrigada.
Obrigada.